So in today's video, we're going to be talking about Mitchell Robinson because a report came out this morning from a Knicks insider from The Athletic saying, quote, "I've gotten the sense that New York would be willing to sign Robinson to a team-friendly extension that covers them in the event he continues to get hurt," end quote. That's coming from James L. Edwards. This is interesting because it has me thinking, would Mitch actually sign a team-friendly deal, given the fact that there's someone out there, at least a team or two, that would pay Mitch a lot of money. Like, for example, Isaiah Hartenstein, yes, absolutely. He stayed healthy his whole career, which Mitch hasn't. But in terms of who's better, like, I'm going to Mitch. I mean, we saw in the playoffs that Robinson came in and he immediately just sparked the entire team with his rebounding, his tenacity, his defense, what he does on the offensive glass. It just gives teams extra possessions. And I don't know if there's anyone in the league that can keep Mitch off of the glass. I understand that he's not the best free throw shooter. He certainly doesn't stretch the floor, but he's also an elite screener, something that doesn't get talked about enough for Mitch. I mean, I could probably pull up a couple of teams right now. They'd be the lower teams that would send a lot of money out to sort of get Mitch here, or to get Mitch there, rather. And that's my concern with this. But also, if you're Mitch, why exactly would you want to leave the Knicks? Because he absolutely loves it here, and he's getting paid. He gets to continue to play in New York. He's with a lot of good players. Mike Brown, I think a lot of Knicks fans are going to love him once they start to get to know him a little bit more in the preseason, the regular season, and so on and so forth. So, would this actually work? Does it make sense for both sides? It certainly makes sense for the Knicks because they have security if Mitch does get hurt. They get him back. They can pair him with Cat. They can bring him off the bench. We saw in the playoffs, like I said. But for Mitch, would he actually take a team-friendly deal? We did see Jalen Brunson do it. Now, Mikal Bridges, I would call his deal team-friendly. A lot of people might disagree, but I think he could have got more money elsewhere. We also, like, OG Anunoby obviously took the most he could have gotten. I mean, well, that was offered. I mean, he could have got more money, but no team was going to give OG like 55 million a year. So far so good for the Knicks. They do have one open roster spot. Does it go to Malik Beasley, Ben Simmons, or Landry Shamet? We'll kind of wait and see on that. But I do think the Knicks should put Mitch into a big role this upcoming season. I'm not sure if he can handle it. We'll have to wait and see. There's only really been one season of Mitch so far in his career where he's played a bunch of games and he's been reliable. But if he can be, he's one of the best centers in basketball. I think he's a defensive player of the year candidate. In terms of his plus and minus, it's going to be towards the top of the league. I mean, we saw what Hartenstein provided on a nightly basis. The Knicks desperately missed him this past season. Losing him, of course, losing Dante DiVincenzo, that definitely hurt the team. But Mitch, when he's available, again, he can just take over a game. And he doesn't need the ball in his hands to do it, which just fits so well with Brunson and Cat because those guys can't say the same. As much as I do like Cat, he needs the ball in his hands to be effective. I get he can rebound and things like that, but Cat needs to be able to go one-on-one and attack the basket and to stretch the floor. Jalen Brunson certainly is handling the ball pretty much every possession. But for Mitch, he can literally be the best player on the floor and not even touch the ball once. Like, obviously, like, he's going to grab a rebound and kick it out to an open shooter. But he doesn't have to score. Like, Mitch could have 0 points and have 15 rebounds and 5 blocks and 4 steals, and like that's just what Mitchell Robinson does. And he's one of my favorite players on the team. He's the longest tenured Nick on the team. We drafted him in the second round years ago, and that's something that I value a lot is homegrown players because you get to see them grow. Mitch coming in as a rookie and then to where he is now. Most of the guys on the current Knicks were brought in via free agency, like Deuce McBride, who I'm looking at currently on the screen right now. I mean, you guys probably aren't because we're going to be at different points. There are players. Certainly, there's a couple of current rookies on the team, but the majority of the players that are getting big minutes were traded for or were brought in free agency. Brunson, free agency. Josh Hart was a trade. OG Anunoby was a trade. Cat was a trade. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with building a team like that, but when you have a guy like Mitch, he's just a fan favorite. I mean, everyone loves Mitchell Robinson. I mean, as a player, as a person, I know I'm sure there's people out there that don't believe he's going to be able to stay healthy. And if you can capitalize on him, on getting a return for him before paying him, I mean, there's going to be plenty of people that would want to do that. But I don't see a world where the Knicks don't have Mitch for the future and are able to win because it's already difficult enough for the Knicks to defend and to get rebounds. And now all of a sudden you lose Mitch. I'm just not buying it. I don't think the Cat and Mitch minutes worked as well as I thought, but I think a large reason for that is there wasn't enough reps of it. well, not even I think, I know there wasn't enough reps of it because the Knicks inserted Mitch game three when they were down 2-0. When the damage was kind of done to that point, you had home field, home court, and you end up losing it home field. And it's too much football, man. Season starts next week, man. Go Jets right now. So, okay, yeah, go Giants. I don't know, whichever team you guys root for. But in terms of Mitchell Robinson, I'd love to see if he would actually agree to this because the report says that the Knicks would be willing to do that and want to do that, but we haven't heard what Mitch would want because just from what I know about him, I feel like he does want to come back to the Knicks, but he's not going to take like a deal that just undervalues him. He's going to get money. I think it could be one of those situations where the Knicks unfortunately just don't have the opportunity to be able to pay Mitch. Hartenstein left. I think Mitch could get. I don't think he's going to get 30 million like Hartenstein, but I do think he's going to seek at least 20 million. I mean, he's definitely worth that. I think right now Mitch is making like a little, maybe like 15, a little, maybe even 12. Mitch is not making like too much for how good he is, but with his health, maybe Mitch does say, "Hey, look, yeah, I've been able to stay healthy. I get to remain with the Knicks, and I'm getting money. I'm locked up for the long term." He's like, "Let's get it done." I mean, I don't know. It's so interesting to think about, but it seems like guys are making more and more money, and if a team like the Charlotte Hornets, for example, or just someone like the Toronto Raptors, just using like hypothetical teams, see Mitch as a free agent and they offer him something crazy. Because the Knicks did offer Hartenstein as much as they could. They offered him like 80 million, but they weren't able to match the Thunder because of the rules. The rules stated that the Knicks can only offer him this much. They did offer him that much, and he went to the Thunder. It wasn't just about the money for Hartenstein; it was the opportunity, and he was right on that because OKC won the championship. They were the best team all season. I mean, we played them, and it was tough. I mean, both games were close, but they did beat us in New York and in OKC, Oklahoma. But that's kind of where I'm at with Mitch. Is you hope that this gets done like as soon as possible. I don't like deals getting done during the season. I'd rather just get it done now. Like Mikal Bridges got extended. Why not figure out something with Mitch and then know that, hey, look, this is our team for the future? Because that was a big concern of mine as well, was talking about moving on from Cat in the offseason. And don't get me wrong, I certainly entertained Cat for KD just because I think the Knicks would be better with KD versus Cat because KD is just a much better defender. And I think he's just Brunson and KD. KD fits well with anyone, but I mean, KD and Brunson would be a dream come true. I entertained it, but I also realized that, hey, look, this is the first year of Cat and Brunson in New York, and they end up going to a game six in the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, what's going to happen next year and the year after that when they sort of gain more chemistry and continuity and camaraderie and things like that? So I do think that the Knicks should run it back with the same team, which they are. They did that in Jordan Clarkson and Gershon Yabusele. But the next piece of the puzzle is going to be interesting from a roster standpoint, but also extending Mitch. But I think Ben Simmons, I still stand on that. I think the Knicks should bring in a wing that is versatile, that can defend versus a shooter. Like Shamet and Beasley would be good additions. I think Ben Simmons is the Knicks' best bet. There's so many teams in on Ben, though, whereas with Beasley, the Cavs and the Knicks seem to be the two top teams. You certainly don't want Beasley to go to the Cavs because that's the Knicks' biggest threat with Halliburton and with Tatum currently sidelined. So, yeah, I mean, if it comes down to that, I feel like you almost kind of got to bring in Beasley. I just don't want to have to deal with a 40% three-point shooter on the Cavs. I mean, why would you want that? They've already got enough shooting, so, like, if they get more. But in terms of Mitchell Robinson, it's a no-brainer to me, man. Hopefully the Knicks can get this done ASAP.